Well, fellow YouTubers and friends, I finally got and done it. It's January the 9th, about 10:41 a.m. and this last Christmas, December 25th, 2018, I gave myself a Christmas present. I retired. I've shut down all my businesses. I had like 6 or 7 of them, I don't know. But anyway, I shut them all down except for Boomtown Laboratories and Boomtown Investments. And right now, with all those headaches gone, I have absolutely nothing to do except follow my dream and aspirations. I intend to spend at least 75 to 80% of my waking hours working on science experiments and so forth. My 3 pet projects are number 1 is the 2-stage oscillator. Of course, a lot of people know that. And I've already proven that the machine will run by falling weight, and it has a absolute rhythm, clicking rhythm to it, which in the right frame of mind would put you to sleep. So if you actually had your bed and your body as the weight, you could actually go to sleep at night, get a deep sleep, and perform work at the same time. For example, in a third world country where they grow a lot of rice, they've taken teenage kids and, put them on treadmills and physically work all day long pumping water into rice fields or out of rice fields, whatever. The point is, why? When the whole family can put their bed 15, 20 feet off the ground, climb up a ladder at night, go to sleep, there you're above the altitude of the flying insects, and you get a very nice restful sleep and pump water to your rice fields at the same time. Come on. All right, okay, enough of that. But next pet project is a heat engine. I've been wanting to build an engine that operates on steam, but on demand, where you don't have to have a big steam, high-pressure steam storage tank that can malfunction and blow up and kill people, blow heavy chunks of metal all for quarters of a mile to a half mile away and kill people. If you had steam as you needed it, when you needed it, think about this a minute. One of the most powerful elements on the face of this earth is water. Water turned to steam is 3.5 times stronger than gasoline. Now you take gasoline, you pour it out on the ground, you light it on fire, and it's just going to burn. But you put it under pressure with oxygen and air, and it explodes and has a pressure to it, and that pressure pushes down on a piston in a cylinder and drives your automobile. Steam, you put it in the pressurized container, you heat it up, makes steam, puts it under pressure, pushes down on the cylinder. Like I said, water is 3.5 times more powerful than gasoline and 3.2 to 3.4 times more powerful than dynamite. Come on, folks. Think about this a minute. All right, by using the mathematics and the physics and wherefore, whatever, for the Stirling engine, the hot air engine, and using the mechanics and the concept of diesel power, and then using steam power, if you put these all together and hook them up, the different phases of them, and hook them up correctly, you can have a steam on-demand engine with very little energy input. It produces its own energy. The thing will work. I'm going to need help with that one because it, the thing could run away with itself. But anyway, right now I'm working on Stirling engines to get a better concept of how they work and so forth. I'm pretty sure I know basically how a diesel engine works. You compress the air until it gets so hot it ignites the fuel. Well, when it ignites the fuel explodes, burns, and pushes down on the cylinder. Well, if you get that air that hot, even in the winter time, when it's 10 degrees outside, diesel engines run. They take that cold air and compress it and get it so hot, it will ignite diesel fuel under pressure. Well, then why wouldn't it turn water into steam? Here again, the more pressure you put on water, the higher the temperature it takes to produce steam. But if you get water over 212 degrees Fahrenheit at sea level, then it takes a lot more. If you put pressure on it, it takes more temperature, a higher temperature, to cause it to turn to steam. But as you increase the heat, you increase the pressure, you don't get steam. Therefore, if you put water in a cylinder and compressed it with like a diesel cylinder does, the air would get so hot, the water would get super hot, so that when the diesel piston reached top dead center and broke over and started to reduce that pressure, that water would turn to steam and create a pressure. So you get the concept of what I'm trying to say here? Now, if you took a coil and had your piston compress the air through a coil, and this coil was heated by a fire, your air in the cylinder, in your reservoir, in your fuel reservoir, would be superheated. Then as the piston broke over, you inject water, a mist of water, into that superheated air. It would turn to steam. There you would get your excess pressure. You would need a lot of force to drive that piston down, or to top dead center, to compression. But you would get more power out of the steam than it took to compress that air. I don't know if anybody out there gets them a concept or not. I hope you do. But anyway, back to my main point is I'm finally retired, and I'm going to do the love of my life. I'm going to work on these experiments and see how they're going. The two-stage oscillator is far from perfect right now, but I've got ideas on how to improve it and make it even better. The amazing thing of the mathematics that I've done on the two-stage oscillator is whatever size you build it, if you double everything, you multiply the power output by 5, and you decrease the power input drastically. It's unbelievable. If you make the length of the pendulum twice as long and the weight of the pendulum twice as heavy, the power output is 5 times greater, but yet your power input is less, by at least 20 to 25% less power input, but 5 times more power output. And I know that sounds a little bit strange, but it is. This is the truth. It is definitely the truth. Okay, all right, enough of that. I'm looking forward to making quite a few more videos on certain experiments I do. And another thing, I've made a lot of mistakes, and I've put videos on showing my mistakes. I hope people don't boo-hoo me for that. My brother did many times. He passed away last January last year, and he used to chastised me many times for going into too much detail, and also for putting on videos on my mistakes. But there again, I told him I had many comments of people thanking me for putting on my mistakes, because they had the same idea and it saved them the trouble of doing it. and making the same mistakes. So as I make mistakes, I will make short videos of those and try to explain where the mistake was made if I can. And so somebody else doesn't make the same mistake or can correct what I did wrong. Okay? Anyway, it's been great knowing you guys all these years, and hopefully we'll have a more and better relationship in the future. Okay, I've got a couple ideas on a Stirling engine I'm getting ready to build. I've never built one before, but I know the concept, so I'm trying it and making a few modifications to see how they work. But they're great to play with, to learn the aspects of heat engines. A lot of people have the misconcept of a heat engine runs on heat. It does not. It runs on a differential of heat. You've got to be able to get the heat out of the engine as fast or have the ability to get it out faster than you can put it in. Because a heat engine, if you cannot get the heat out of it, it will not run. It may run for a minute or two, but it won't run forever. You've got to get the heat out. That's the secret. All right. Everybody have fun, and I look forward to seeing y'all more on YouTube. Okay, bye.